All right, welcome. This is the presentation for the Digital Trails Capstone project. We'll first just be talking about the project and the team. So the team consists of Cory, Kenneth, and Mike, who are all fourth-year capstone students and full-stack developers for the project. And the project's in collaboration with the Town of Oakville and the Oakville Community Foundation. So first, let's talk about the problem. So in a community-wide survey in 2017, some of the findings included 25% of Oakville residents describing their sense of belonging as weak, where the trails were one of the main pinpoints of this issue. The key problem that the trails were facing include the difficulty to find information about a trail online before visiting, the lack of accessibility information, the lack of engagement for residents who do visit the trails, and just how easy it is to get lost on them. Our solution was to create an engaging and accessible trail application that Oakville residents can use. This will allow them to see information and accessibility about the trails, have live navigation, learn more about Oakville through engaging landmark experiences, and exciting points of interest. Also included would be a content management system that an admin from the town or from the foundation could use, where they could see a dashboard of all the trails on the map, and they can manage the content for trails, landmarks, points of interest, and landmark experiences. Before we get into the demos, we'll just talk a bit about the personas. So Stephanie is a 39-year-old mom who's in a wheelchair. She wants to visit the trails, but she wants to know information about them, specifically regarding accessibility. Daniel is a 14-year-old teenager who's the son of Stephanie. He wants to go to the trails with his mom, but he wants to be entertained and engaged.
So Stephanie wishes to visit a heritage trail. When she opens the Digital Trails app, the first thing she sees is a list of trails. This is the trip planning part of the app that helps residents like Stephanie decide what heritage trail to go on and to plan the trip there. If she picks a trail, say the Crosstown Heritage Trail, she can see the trail highlighted in its color, but all the other trails grayed out. The map also shows the location of parking lots near the trail and a number of other items on the map. More on those later. The lens is displayed on the trail image. A swipe up on this image gets her a description of the trail and a list of its landmarks. Also, more on those later. If she swipes down on this trail information and taps the trail accessibility button, she can see the sections of the trail that are accessible and the parts that aren't. This is critical information for her. She can tap on these parts of the map to get further information. She can tap either on the warning icons or the accessible markings. When Stephanie wants to decide on a trail, she probably wants directions. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to that part of trip planning, but it must be said, all the trail information the app currently provides for trip planning can be very hard to find elsewhere. In live navigation, Stephanie can always see her current location. So when she's on a trail, she can see exactly where she is at every turn. All landmarks and other digital trail map items can also be seen. Now, when she and her son Daniel are close enough, they can unlock and experience a landmark. Landmarks are the main points of engagement and learning on the app. Upon unlocking a landmark, Stephanie and Daniel have the choice of two possible experiences, Storytime and AR. Cory will go through the AR experience later on. Right now, let's explore Storytime. Storytime is the battery-saving alternative to the AR experience, but it is still very fun. If Stephanie and Daniel choose this experience, they will get to meet Oakley. Oakley is Digital Trails' virtual guide, and in this experience, the guide helps teach the history of Oakville by telling the landmark story. Oakley begins every story session with a description of the story. Each landmark story has chapters that Daniel and Stephanie can choose from, and tapping a chapter starts the chapter. When a chapter starts, Oakley gives residents a set of buttons that allows enjoying the pages at one's pace and to possibly speak to Oakley. As Daniel goes through the chapter, Oakley shows text from each page and shows the image that goes with the page. This image can be viewed in full screen and it can be zoomed in as well. As Daniel goes along, Oakley might ask questions. This is to engage residents, and Oakley can be spoken to at any time during the experience, and the guide will respond. Once a chapter is experienced, the interface indicates what chapters have been experienced.
One of the coolest features of the heritage trails are the landmark kiosks that provide historical context at certain points of the trails. We've digitized these landmarks into versatile, augmented reality experiences. When a user comes within 20 meters of a landmark, that landmark gets unlocked, and the user can launch the tour or AR experience. Launching the AR experience introduces a 3D Oakley who guides you through. Once Oakley finishes her introduction, a couple menu items pop up. By clicking the movie cassette object, the user can watch a video related to the landmark. Clicking the picture frame object opens up the gallery that allows the user to see historical photos related to the landmark. And lastly, by clicking the camera, the user enables photo mode, where they can take photos of them or their friends and family in the AR experience and share them with others. Each landmark experience is unique and tailored to a specific theme. We've already unlocked the First Nation Information Station, so let's check out that experience. Here we can see that the gallery mode has changed, and now features historical indigenous images. There are way more landmarks to explore, however, beyond the two we've just showcased, so to keep Stephanie and Daniel engaged on exploring more trails, we've included a landmark progress page. Here Stephanie can see all the trails and their respective landmarks, and her progress towards unlocking them all. If Stephanie wants to visit any of these landmarks, she can click them to show their location on the digital trails map. Lastly, aside from landmarks, residents can leave each other trail tips known as points of interest. These points show up as different icons on the trails and come in three categories: nature, history, and photo spot. Users can visit these points of interest to see some cool things left by their fellow residents, and can upvote/downvote them accordingly. Creating a point of interest is also simple and fast, and is geotagged to the user's current location.
And now we will be demoing the Digital Trails Content Management System, the web application where admins from the town or the foundation can go to manage content displayed in the app. So this is a dashboard where they can see all of the different trails in the system, and they can see them in their respective colors as shown in the legend. And these are the same colors that were shown in the iOS app as well. They can manage trails where they can see a list of the trails already in the system, where they can decide to edit information that is there already, or they can add a new trail with this page here, and they can enter general information such as the name, the length, and the description, or they can enter more specific information to the map, where they can enter a layer, an identifying field, an operation, and a color. Also in the system is the ability to manage landmarks. So here they can see the list of landmarks in the system, and when they go to add a landmark, they can enter the name, they can enter the description, they can select a trail that it belongs to, and here they can select a point on the map where they actually want the landmark to show up, and when doing so it updates the coordinates. They can also go to manage points of interest, where we can see the different points of interest already in the system, added by users of the app, and they can also add a new one if they decide, where they can enter the category as well as the specific coordinates. Alright, and now residents like Stephanie and Daniel can go to the trails, receive accessibility information, and be engaged while they explore. That concludes the Digital Trails capstone presentation. Thank you for watching.